Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at noon.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining us on this Monday afternoon. I'm Jordan Schreier. Many of us are still riding the high of that beautiful weekend, but can we expect that to stick around? Well, taking that live look outside, it's sunny and fairly pleasant right now here in the metro. But for what we can expect in other parts of the region and for the rest of our day, let's head on over to Storm Team meteorologist Lisa Green.
Well, today is a mixed bag of weather, that's for sure. We had that fog this morning. We're clearing out, and there's still some snow in places in the south and west. This is a view on the DOT cam from western Dickey County. This is west of Ellendale and east of the Ashley area on Highway 11 there. And you can see that visibility is down thanks to some snow that's been coming down in that area. So dealing with that, more over toward Bismarck, south central parts of North Dakota and down into South Dakota, but it's still having some impacts on us. If you look in the James River Valley in our loop here, you can see that one area of snow over Ellendale has been retreating while we've been kind of filling in between Jamestown and Ellendale over the last couple of hours. I'll zoom in a little bit more. You can see that snow just on the doorstep of Jamestown back over toward Edgeley and Lemoore and Oaks, and then again in western parts of Lemoore County seeing some of that snow. And so if you're heading westward or southwestward today, you're going to run into that. Visibility looking so much better than this morning's fog that we were dealing with. And we're looking at a pretty decent afternoon ahead of us today. Temperatures will be rising back into the 20s and 30s through the valley. So we'll talk more about that. We do have a cool down in store as well. All of that's coming up in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Ice conditions are getting dicey in the area as we slowly head towards spring. Tri-State Diving had to pull this pickup here out of a lake near Glenwood, Minnesota just a few days ago. The company says a father and son were driving on the lake when they got too close to thin ice by a river and then went through. The man and his son were able to get out safely before the truck completely went under. Tri-State Diving pulled that vehicle up 16 feet from the bottom of the lake. The city of Fargo closed a street today to fix a water main break. 7th Avenue North is closed between 10th and 12th Streets North. The water main broke yesterday, sending water pouring out into the street. City crews turned down the water pressure yesterday to keep homes from losing too much water. New for you at noon, the verdict is in. Disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein is guilty of 2 accounts of sexual assault. Jurors found Weinstein guilty on 2 charges: first-degree criminal sexual act and third-degree rape. These stem from the sexual assault of one woman and the rape of another. The panel acquitted Weinstein, however, of 3 other charges: 1 count of first-degree rape and 2 counts of predatory sexual assault. Also new at noon, the state of Minnesota has released recommendations for reducing officer-involved shootings. The group, led by Attorney General Keith Ellison, made 28 recommendations. The recommendations fall under the categories of healing and engagement, prevention and training, and investigations and accountability, among other topics. The list was developed over the past 6 months after listening to testimony from across the state. The state of North Dakota says the flu vaccine was less than 50% effective in the state so far this year. The overall effectiveness of the influenza vaccine is measured at about 45%. This means that the vaccine reduced the risk of getting sick from the flu by less than half. This year, 144 children have died from the flu in the U.S., and many of the children who died were not vaccinated. Meanwhile, the deadly coronavirus is targeting more countries around the world, including many in Europe. Experts now say the world has reached a tipping point to prevent a global pandemic after a surge of cases outside of China. Molly Hunter reports from Milan.
Italy is a nation on high alert. 50,000 people in the north told to stay at home, creating virtual ghost towns. 5,000 miles from the epicenter in China, Italy has the 5th most cases in the world. The sudden spike leading Italy's prime minister to take what he calls dramatic measures. Trains now being inspected at the border with Austria, the Venice Carnival cut short. And a stark image for the end of Milan's Fashion Week. Here, Giorgio Armani holding his runway show in an empty theater. Meanwhile, South Korea has now raised its coronavirus alert to the highest level. Its president saying the country faces a grave turning point with 7 dead and nearly 800 confirmed cases. And aboard the ill-fated Diamond Princess cruise ship in Japan, a third passenger has now died, an 80-year-old Japanese man. 14 Americans who tested positive for coronavirus were allowed to return back to the U.S. from the Diamond Princess last week. Fears of the virus spreading have sparked a backlash from some states receiving evacuees. The city of Costa Mesa in California filing a temporary restraining order against setting up a quarantine site at a state hospital there.
We're a compassionate community, but we are not going to continue to be the place where everybody drops off their crises.
Here in Milan, not a lot of people are wearing face masks. When we landed in the airport, no one took my temperature. No one asked about my travel history in the last 24 days. But that is, of course, the big fears that this outbreak in Italy could spread beyond the borders. Molly Hunter, NBC News, Milan, Italy.
We do have some positive news on that. According to the World Health Organization, there has been a decline in infections in China and few cases of the virus and just a fewer cases of the virus among children. In our consumer alert this afternoon, stocks are plunging today on fears of the coronavirus that it will take over the economy. Asian and European markets are plunging as well. Travel-related stocks are taking the biggest hit, with Delta and American Airlines down 5% just today. And Costco is now cracking down. For years, the general public has enjoyed the Costco food court and the cheap slices of pizza and, of course, that $1.50 hot dog. But signs went up last week saying effective March 16th, an active Costco membership card will be required to purchase items from the food court. When reached for comment, Costco said that's actually always been the rule. It just has never really enforced it. Now, the cost of a membership starts at about $60 a year.